But if you could go to the Amazon and see that someone chopped down a tree that you were describing, that massive tree that people hadn't seen in 100 years or whatever, maybe ever, who knows?
I mean, some of these trees are 1,200 years old.
Maybe there's no one else dumb enough to walk through that place with no water.
We might have been the first people to ever see that tree.
When I was in Scotland, they were claiming this. I don't know if this is true, but because there's a lot of really old shit in Scotland. They have these stones.
Really?
We were in Scotland. There's these guide stones on the ground, and I go, "What's that from?" They go, "We don't know." I go, "How old is it?" They're like, "It's about 5,000 years old." I was like, "What? You just walk up to a 5,000-year-old stone?" There's a stone circle out there. There's a stone circle like that someone has constructed. It's similar to Stonehenge, but on a much, much smaller scale.
Yeah.
And it's older than Stonehenge, and it's just on the street in front of this dude's house. So this guy said, "Do you want to see it?"
Heritage site.
No, it has a little plaque that's like that big.
Yeah.
So we got out of the car and we walk over to. You could walk on it. You could stand on it. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, how old is this?
Yeah.
They're like, we're not exactly sure, but it's thousands and thousands of years old. Like the Druids made these things.
Where it came from.
They don't know. They don't know who did it. They don't know why. This guide stone was just on the ground next to this this pathway, and I was like, "What is this?" They're like, "That's a 5,000-year-old guide stone." I'm like, "What is? What?
Whoa!
Who put that there? Why isn't there a museum built around this fucking thing? That's crazy. That it's just laying on the ground."
No, I mean it's what? This is a meteorite.
Yes,
that is a meteorite. That's
so.
super cool.
Weren't they saying that? So they were telling me that the oldest tree in the world is in Scotland. I was like,
What?
I don't know how that's true.
I thought the oldest tree was.
It has to be in Africa. Wouldn't it be?
I thought it was in the Middle East somewhere. It was like one of those. It's like like 6 feet tall and like super
Right, all
rooty
fucked
and like
up,
they said
gnarly.
like it predates Jesus. Like it's like ancient
Really?
tree. Yeah.
Like, what's the oldest tree in the? This is just. I didn't want to tell the guy. Get the fuck out of here. This ain't the oldest tree. He was giving me a tour of the land.
One of the oldest trees in Europe.
These are coos. These are coos. They're
Coos.
cows. They call the cows coos.
Coos.
I go, what are you saying, man? Scotland's oldest tree. So it's 3,000 and 9,000 years old.
Whoa. Between 3 and 9. That's a big swing.
Yeah, they don't know. They're just I mean, that's the thing about that area. There's a lot of just guessing. There's a lot of just guessing. So see if you can show me a photo of the oldest tree. Yeah, they're gnarly looking, like you're saying. It's not like a massive tree.
No.
It's, when you walk by it, you would think, oh, it's just a tree. You would never think that thing's 9,000 years old.
But I'm curious what the oldest tree period is.
I think that's the one.
Really?
That's the
In
one they were
Scotland?
saying is the oldest tree. Well, this is just what this guy's telling me. What is that one? The oldest tree in the world. What's that one? That one looks like it's the Middle East. I don't think so. No, couldn't be, right?
I don't know. Bristlecone.
Where's that one?
Pine. Great Basin, 100 years. It doesn't say.
Where's Bristlecone?
California.
California. So the oldest tree in the world's in California?
No, hold on. It says something about Atlanta.
Oh no! It says it. Yeah, I don't think they're saying it.
Trees Atlanta is the website. That's kind of weird.
Is that maybe just like trees around the world that they're studying in Atlanta?
Wrong rabbit hole is all me.
The oldest tree in the world. It looks like shit. It looks like you would expect the oldest tree. Yeah. You wouldn't expect the oldest tree to look like those great redwoods. California.
Doesn't have a single fucking leaf.
So how old is that one?
Alive.
How old is the oldest tree in the world? 4,855 years old.
Yikes.
Methuselah. They have a name for it.
Methuselah.
So some
That's a good
cocksucker, there's some dude that's thinking about turning that into a desk. There's some fucking tech shithead. U.S. Forest Service doesn't tell visitors precisely where Methuselah stands, nor does the organization release photographs of the ancient tree. Someone's gonna fuck it up.
Can you look up what the like how old the General Sherman is? I'm curious about the sequoias.
But this is interesting, Jamie, because this is I guess that other website's incorrect because the other website was saying it might be 9,000 years old.
This is the same tree right here, I think. The yew from northern Wales, wouldn't that be?
Yeah, but that's not Scotland.
I guess not. Okay.
Different country, but I'm sure they have some old shit too.
Prometheus.
I think that's the thing about a lot of these old trees is it's kind of guesswork.
Yeah.
I don't think they really know, and I think it probably behooves them to exaggerate a little.
Hooves.
You know, because it's kind of a good bragging point to say we got the oldest tree in the world.
Yeah, it's a draw for your
Yeah.
town, whatever.
Sorta. There's no one out there. It was really cool.
Like 6 people.
There's
come
no
to
one in
see your
Scotland,
tree.
bro. Just fucking Scotland is like the whole country is like the size of
This
Austin
says something about the oldest
in terms of
largest
population.
known living single stem tree on
Yeah.
Earth.
Single stem
Yeah,
tree.
so
Oh,
not
interesting.
all complicated like the ones we just saw. This is just like a pole. A lot of the rainforest trees are like this, where it's just a pillar.
General Sherman. So is that a sequoia?
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Have you gone up to Northern California? Did that rainforest?
I haven't been up to Northern Cali, but where the General Sherman is, it looks like if you play like Super Mario 64, like when you get like you go into like Giant Land. Mm-hmm. There was a sequoia tree that had fallen over. I mean, the thing was, 36 feet thick. I don't know. But I was like,
Ugh.
I couldn't climb on top of the tree.
Right.
And it fell over, and it went from here for like a city block.
Yeah. They
And
have
it
one
just
that has a
looks crazy.
tunnel carved out
Yeah.
where you could drive your car through it.
They're so cool. And people
Yeah.
want to cut them down.
Yeah.
There's people frothing to cut those things
Oh
down.
yeah, people are gross, especially some fucking psychopath who's on Adderall. Sherman tree contains more wood volume in its trunk than any other tree on Earth.
And that's not
So
the biggest one.
that seems like to make sense to me. Like that's the oldest tree. When I see that little ratty little fucking bush in the desert, I'm like, that's not the old. You lying bitch.
Yeah. See, I thought it would be somewhere on the side of a mountain where it's like high wind and they're growing slow over 1,000 years, so no humans would have been up there.
Right.
And every year it's just adding, a millimeter to its its
Well,
wood.
we know so much about the world in comparison to what they knew 500 years ago, but yet we still know so little. I mean, they still like 2010 they found a new human species, the Denisovans. They didn't even know the Denisovans were a thing until 2010. And now they think that the Denisovans, like a lot of the Aborigine people in Australia, have Denisovan in them, and maybe possibly even Neanderthal in them.
They only described the fact that there was 2 species and not 1 species of fucking elephant in Africa in the 90s.
Well, wasn't a gorilla like a myth until they went? I think gorillas were like mythical creatures until
To
like
Europeans?
the 1800s. Like when did they discover gorillas?
I mean, I think the first European to see a gorilla probably
Well, I'm
had
sure
some mental
Africans
issues.
saw
I mean, they were
gorillas,
just,
but
like,
they
around
couldn't get the
gorillas
word
all
out.
the time. Yeah. But like the first explorer with his chainmail to show
Yeah.
up and look at a gorilla.
It wasn't until early 19th century that people native from the areas where they live, such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Gabon, knew gorillas better. But among people outside of Africa, they were mostly mythological creatures.
There's human-like, big 400-pound monsters, and like insane.
Yeah, well, there's
Insane.
this is a really controversial one. It's the Bondo ape, and that's a particular area of the Congo called Bili. And Bili has this unusual strain of chimpanzees that have a crest on their head like a gorilla. So like this is a normal chimpanzee skull.
Okay.
See how it's smooth on the top? Gorillas have this big crest because their mandible muscles are